Hello, my dear students. I'm Dr. Vani this side, and on behalf of Vedantu, we are going to have another amazing session today. The topic that I've chosen today is extremely important from both AIMS as well as NEET point of view. It is one of the last sessions of 2018, and before we usher in 2019, I wanted to give you something substantial that you have that will definitely fetch you marks in the exam that you all have to give in 2019. The topic for today is 5 diseases which I feel out of them, one disease will most definitely come for the exam, maybe even 2, because the topics have been chosen from a topic called Human Health and Disease, which is a class 12 topic, which is extremely important. Now, before I embark on the journey of telling you about these 5 diseases, there's something that is on my mind for quite some time, and I would really want to talk to you about this. So many of you call me every single day and share your trials and tribulations with you. You call me up to tell that you're feeling down, you've not been able to do well in your pre-boards, your boards are around the corner, you're forever confused whether you want to study for your NEET exam or for your board exams. The KVPY results have come, the NSEB results have come. Some of you have made through, but some of you unfortunately have not been able to make through these really tough exams, so your morale is down. I just have one piece of advice for you. If there's one thing which you just have to throw out from your psyche and throw out from your mind, that is self-doubt. My dear students, as we usher in 2019, as we move towards a brand new year, if there's one thing that I want you to have, and tons of it, it is self-confidence. And if there's one thing that I just want you to throw out, it is self-doubt. Keeping that in mind, in the coming few weeks, we are launching many more videos like these, where I will specifically target on how to keep yourself positive, motivated, happy, and focused in the most crucial last 4 months. Whatever you've done in the last 2 years, my dear children, it all boils down, it all comes down to these, 3-4 months that we have. It's very critical. It's very important, my dear parents. If you're also there listening along with your children, it's very important that we, parents and teachers, stand like a rock behind our worthy children at this juncture, because they really need us. My dear students, please feel free to reach me through Vedantu, just in case you have anything which is really troubling you, any doubts, any problems that you have. Trust me, at Vedantu, it's a matter of great pride, privilege, honor, and a duty for us to be able to make sure that you succeed, you do well, you are mentally relaxed, you don't have any burden on your head, and it will be a constant endeavor to make sure that you kind of succeed in everything that you choose to do. Let no one tell you that you can't do this. Let nobody pull you down. Let no exam decide what you're going to do eventually in life, right? Be very positive, be very motivated, be happy, because when you're happy while doing your work, it will translate into your work being done in a much better way. These 4 months are paramount. They're crucial beyond words could ever put it. They are very important. And here at Vedantu, it will be our constant endeavor to make sure that you do really well. So with that, let me come and start today's topic. I hope you enjoy the class. Make notes, like I always say, sit with some small little copy, a paper and a pen ready, because I'll tell you certain very crisp questions which are going to be expected in the exam which is coming year, right? So sit with a paper, sit with a pen. Whatever I tell you that this is important from exam point of view, make sure you write it down. We're going to be discussing 5 diseases. Out of these 5 diseases, I expect 1 or 2 questions 100% in an exam like AIMS or NEET. Whatever I discuss is also important from board exam point of view. So it's going to be like a double, gain for you. Because whatever we are doing out of these 4-5 diseases that we're going to discuss in today's class, I expect a 1-mark question, maybe a 3 or a 5-mark question also in your board exam. So it'll be really, really helpful if you pay attention for the next 30-35 minutes. It's not going to be a long drag class, just a very small, short and crisp class. And one more thing, we're going to be coming up with a lot of videos, so subscribe, like our channel, and make sure that you constantly follow it, because not only studies, I'm going to be discussing a lot of last minute important revision tips. I'm going to be discussing a lot of confidence boosting things last minute when you feel demotivated, you feel deflated, you feel as if everything is lost. It's that time that you need to really pull up. So a lot of cool things are going to be coming. And one small thing, I know you're overburdened. I couldn't agree more. I've gone through the same thing, right? I know you're flabbergasted by board exams, by your pre-board exams, by your submissions, by your practicals, by your practical completion, by your parents sometimes, yes. And there's so much that is happening in your life. You're like so many times, oh my God, I just want to vanish, kind of a feeling. So I'll give you a book right at the end, which is like a gist, which is the crispiest, concisest book which is available in the market, which will really make your things easy, just in case you feel as if there's so much to read and you just want a small book which will help you for those last minute preparations, right? But that book's name I'm going to tell right at the end of the lecture. So you'll have to sit, make notes, listen to me, and then in the end of the lecture, I'll give you a small little surprise book which you can all buy, order through Amazon or Flipkart, and keep it and read it. The last moment revision book. Done, my dear children? So let's start on today's journey. Next 30 minutes, I'm going to be covering 4 or 5 diseases which are very, very, very important for the upcoming examinations. Cool? Come, let's start. So you all are seeing you're all seeing a ribbon kind of a thing here, right, everybody? This ribbon kind of a thing which you see here is, one second. So all of you are seeing a ribbon kind of a thing here. This ribbon kind of a thing that you are able to see here, everybody, is... So my dear students, come, let's start with the 5 most important diseases that we expect in the year 2019. At least one question in the year. Why am I doing this today? Like, why? Good Lord. So my dear students, come, let's start and let's embark on the journey where I'm going to be teaching you 5 diseases. And out of these 5 diseases, at least 1 to 2 questions I'm expecting in the exams that are coming next year. That is either AIMS or NEET. So come, let's start the class. All of you can see a red ribbon-like thing up here on your screen. This ribbon-like thing is nothing but a symbol for a disease for which we have absolutely no treatment. This disease, as you all must be really aware, is known as the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by a virus called the HIV. Every single year we have a question, either in a direct or an indirect form, which comes in AIMS or NEET from AIDS. So it's a very, very, very important disease. Let's start. And whatever I tell you should be on your copies, because this is very important. This disease is referred to as a pandemic. Now, what do they understand by a pandemic? Pandemic is a disease which is spread across all continents. There is no place on earth where we do not have this disease. So such a disease which is spread across everywhere, across all continents, is known as a pandemic. The disease, my dear children, I'm telling you something extra now. The disease which is restricted to a very small area is called an endemic disease. The disease which spreads across a country, some countries, one continent, is called an epidemic. And the disease which spreads across everywhere is referred to as a pandemic. This structure that you see is the HIV in reality. I will show you the digital diagrams of HIV, which are very, very important. So write it down. Note it down. The diagram of HIV is very, very, very important. Is that clear? Very important. I want everybody to make sure that you have this. Okay, so let's move ahead to the next slide. Okay, yeah, see. Okay, now see. This is one diagram of HIV. This is a very slightly complex diagram. Let me move on to another slide, do a little easier diagram, and then I will come back to this particular diagram. Is that clear? Yes, look at this now. This is an easier diagram, but I will explain that diagram in detail because it is very, very important. So if you look carefully, my dear children, there are these basic things that the HIV is made up of. What are the very basic things that the HIV is made up of? Let's look at that in detail. Can you see that the HIV has an envelope outside, right? It has an envelope outside. This is the outer surface of the HIV. And then can you all see the purple lining inside, which is called the capsid or the inner coat. So it has a capsid or the inner coat and the HIV envelope, which is outside. Now, when the HIV or the enemy will enter a human's body or a target's body, to attack the body, to kill the body, it will require certain enzymes. The names of the enzymes I will tell you in detail just a second. Very, very important. Apart from that, the HIV is referred to as a retrovirus. Very important from MCQ point of view. All of you should write this down. A retrovirus is a RNA virus. Some of you might ask me, why is it named retro? Because they were the first viruses to be discovered. The first genetic material to be discovered, right, was retro. It is an old genetic material. DNA was discovered later. So right now, if I talk about Elvis Presley or if I talk about Rajesh Khanna, that is retro. It is old. So it is an old virus. It was the first virus to be discovered. That is why it is called a retrovirus. It is an RNA virus. What is a glycoprotein? These spikes. Can you see these spikes? These spikes are called glycoproteins. Let me come to all of this in detail. This is very, very simple diagram. We have to do much more than this. We have to do the details. Let us come to the details of this particular diagram. Very important. Let's move on to the details, please. I want this diagram in your copies because it is very important. Every year, one question will come from this diagram. Every single year. This can also come in your board exam. So 100% one question will come from the board exam. And 100% one question will come in the entrance exam from this particular diagram. Now, let's come to the glycoproteins. Can you see the structure? This is the structure of a glycoprotein. Remember two words. There's one glycoprotein which is called 120. These are values according to the weight of the molecules. You don't need to know why are they named like this. Remember, there is a glycoprotein 120 and there is a glycoprotein 41. These are according to the weight of the glycoprotein. Is that clear? Why are these important? These glycoproteins help the virus enter inside the human host. It helps the virus enter inside the human host. Very important from AIMS point of view. Very important. After that, you have certain matrix protein. You have a lipid membrane because you know all membranes are made up of lipids. Let's now come to something very, very, very important again. You remember in the last slide, I had told you that this is the capsid or the inner coat. The capsid or the inner coat is made up of P24 molecules. P stands for picograms, 24 is the weight in terms of Daltons. Don't worry. Remember P24. P24, you know what is an antigen? Any foreign substance is an antigen. It could be HIV, it could be Salmonella typhi, it could be Vibrio cholera, anything. It could be rhinovirus, which causes influenza or common cold. Any foreign substance is an antigen. What do we produce against it? Yes. Come on, good. Yes, we produce antibodies against it in terms of the protection that my body is offering. I am going to produce antibodies against it. Yes, this is the antigen of the virus. Unfortunately, in somebody's body, if I find P24, I repeat, in somebody's body, if I find P24, that means there is HIV virus in that person's body. The HIV virus has an antigen made up of P24. That's an AIMS question. Very, very, very important. Very important. Is that clear? Can you see two lines of RNA? Line number 1 of RNA and line number 2 of RNA. So there are two single-stranded RNA molecules. Do you see one dhaga or one strand or two dhagas or two strands? Tell me. You see one dhaga each. One dhaga, second dhaga. So there are two separate single-stranded RNA molecules. MCQ question, AIMS and NEET. Very important. Now, my dear children, you must be knowing, are we RNA or DNA? Obviously, we are DNA. Obviously. So if HIV enters inside a human body, this RNA has to convert to DNA. Yes, because it has to infect our body and our body is DNA, not RNA. So HIV needs to kill our body by converting into DNA. This process where RNA converts to DNA is known as reverse transcription. Remember this. It was given by a scientist called Temin and Baltimore. MCQ. I'm giving you a lot of extra information. I want every information on your copy, please. RNA to DNA is called reverse transcription. It was given by a scientist called Temin and Baltimore. MCQ question. Temin and Baltimore gave reverse transcription. Therefore, reverse transcription is also known as Teminism. It's also known as Teminism. Tomorrow, if a question comes, what is Teminism? Reverse transcription. Who gave it? Temin and Baltimore. For converting RNA to DNA, you need an enzyme. The enzyme is called reverse transcriptase. Is that clear? Remember this, very, very, very important. I'll tell you one very important thing now. We don't have anything to kill the HIV virus. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have anything to kill HIV virus. How does it attack our body? Come on, guys. How is it attacking our body? By converting the RNA to DNA. Yes? Well answered. Good. How does it attack our body? By converting the RNA to DNA. So suppose we don't let it enter. How do terrorists enter India? They enter India through the border. Because there are so many jungles in the border, they enter our country through the border. What if we have electric fence on the border? Will they be able to enter our country? No. So if I stop the RNA to DNA, will it be able to cause infection? No. That is the drug which is available. But is it permanent? Can we stop them forever? Can they not fly and come? Can they not throw a grenade across the border? Yes. So sometimes, after some time, they develop other methods of converting RNA to DNA. Is that clear? So all viruses will have a reverse transcriptase. What is reverse transcriptase? It is an enzyme. What does it do? It converts the RNA of the virus to DNA to infect the humans. I repeat, they have GP120 and GP41 to attach to the host or the human. They have an antigen, which is a foreign body called P24. They have two single-stranded RNAs, and they have an enzyme called reverse transcriptase. What does the reverse transcriptase do? The reverse transcriptase converts the RNA to DNA. Very, very, very important. Is that clear? Very important. Yes? Should we move ahead? I've done this diagram with you. Very important, again, from MCQ point of view. I have just made the slides like this so that you know, tuck, 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 tuck. These are the MCQ questions and you don't have to worry about anything else. Yes. So let me tell you what other questions come from discovery in MCQs, right? Everybody, let's see that. In what does CDC stands for? CDC is a very important center for study of bacteria and viruses. It's present in Atlanta, United States of America. It's called a Center for Disease Control. They were the first laboratories ever to find out about AIDS, but not very important about MCQs. Remember this, there's an institute of Pasteur. It's called the Pasteur Institute. It's there in Paris in France. There was a person there called Montgainer. Is that clear? He's the first person to isolate the retrovirus. Retrovirus, why? Because it's an RNA virus. He was the first person to take it out, isolate it. He got a Nobel Prize for the same, right? It was Luc Montgainer. Is that clear? Luc Montgainer. It was initially called as LAV. This virus was called LAV, old name. Lymphadenopathy associated virus. Why lymphadenopathy? Because this virus causes, you know, there are lymph nodes all over the body which have B or T lymphocytes. So this virus causes inflammation of the lymph nodes. It causes the lymph nodes to swell up. That's called as lymphadenopathy. In fact, my dear children, generalized lymphadenopathy. Is that clear? In fact, my dear children, generalized lymphadenopathy is one of the characteristic features of HIV. Is that clear? Generalized. Anybody who has HIV will have lymph nodes which are swollen. It is like you put sugar, the tea will be sweet. You don't put sugar, the tea will not be sweet. You have, anybody has, you not. Anybody has HIV, lymph nodes will be swollen. No HIV, lymph nodes will not be swollen. So remember who got the Nobel Prize, who discovered it for the first time? Old name. 3 MCQs can come from this slide. Copy every word. I'm again and again repeating it. Copy every word. Very important. Done? We're moving ahead. How is HIV transmitted? It's a simple slide, but you should know this because from here also questions come in exams. Right? Okay. So unprotected sexual intercourse with an HIV infected partner, it's one of the most commonest ways to get HIV. This is called vertical transmission, vertical, from the mother to the fetus. Yes? If anybody shares needles with the infected person, there's a very, very, very important it's a very important agent of spread, very important, because there are so many healthcare providers who, for making money, use the same needle again and again. Blood transfusion. There are people who are suffering from hemophilia, who require platelets. There are people who are suffering from anemia. Right? They require blood transfusions. There are people who have a kidney problem. Unfortunately, they require dialysis. So these are people at high risk because they have to go to a hospital again and again and again. Yes, this is very common amongst youth of today. Tattoos. So they'll go to any cheap place nowadays sometimes to get tattoos done, which can be very, very hazardous. It could, if it's done with unsterilized needle, if they're using the same needle again and again, they could be spreading HIV. I want all of you to know that don't think HIV is like some disease which occurs in Antarctica. For all you know, the person who stays 10 houses from your house must be having HIV. Is that clear? It's a very, very, very common disease. Because there's so much of stigma, unfortunately, which is attached to this disease, people don't come up and tell. It's not like Zukham ho gaya. People don't go out and tell that. Is that clear? I hope you're enjoying the session. I hope you're understanding the session. And time is just running by. Time is just running by. It's already been 15 minutes of the lecture and we're just on disease number 1. See, my dear students, it's always my motto. It's always my aim. I don't want to just do something for the heck of it. If I'm doing AIDS, we'll do it like this, that if any question comes in the exam from AIDS, you will not have to think twice. You will be able to answer the question. Is that clear? Yes, and keep us posted, keep us updated. We would really love to hear from you. In case you like the lectures, please let us know. You don't like the lectures, then also please let me know. Yes, it will help me improve, but I hope you really like the lectures, and keep us posted about what you would like me to make more videos on, right? You let me know that and we'll make more videos on that. Okay, so this is a high risk population. Questions can come on this, like I just discussed. People who are bisexual, people who use illegal injections like drugs. You must have seen the movie Udta Punjab. People who have hemophilia because they need to go to hospital again and again to receive factors. Why people who got blood transfusions before 1985, my dear children, is because before 1985 we did not know that there is a disease called AIDS, right? So we never checked for it. HIV infected mothers, right? Sex workers, heterosexuals. Remember this. This is very simple. I shall move ahead. Yes? Okay. I hope you're all understanding and I hope you are all able to follow and write. This is very important. This was AIMS exam question just last year. See, when anybody gets a virus, we don't call he's got AIDS. Is that clear? When somebody gets a virus, it's just called HIV positive. This HIV is like a really smart bacteria, really smart bacteria. Let me tell you, this HIV, my dear children, will immediately go, like if I have to tell you, this HIV will immediately go into the bloodstream. Is that clear? And from the site of injection, suppose somebody got a tattoo made here. So the here was the injection which was applied. From here, it will directly go to the lymph nodes which exist here. So this HIV will go to the lymph nodes and it will hide there. It's such a smart virus. It will not be in the bloodstream. What do terrorists do? I always compare HIV to a terrorist. What do terrorists do? Do terrorists go and stand in front of people? Oh, come on, murder me. Or do they hide and then they throw a grenade and then they go and shoot? Yes, they hide. Is that clear? Similarly, this will hide. Why? Because it does not want to die. Is that clear? It doesn't want to die. If it is in the blood, the body will see it. And if the body sees it, the body will produce antibodies against it and they will go and try and kill it. Therefore, it hides inside the lymph node. In the lymph node, it will specifically target. Have you seen how terrorists attack? They're so barbaric, they're so cruel. They'll find somebody and like, main maar dunga isko, ya they'll cover somebody and they'll use a human shield. Nowadays, have you seen terrorists use a human shield? They'll protect themselves. Yes, if not in reality, at least in movies. Right? So similarly, this HIV also uses a human shield. Imagine, it is so smart. It is so smart. Is that clear? Yes, so inside this lymph node, it's like hiding, crouching in one corner and staying. And it will use the shield of T lymphocytes. Very, very important. It will sit in a corner. It'll be like within the T lymphocytes, sitting like this. And it will keep killing the T lymphocytes. The T lymphocytes are very important for our immunity. Extremely, extremely important for our immunity. So it will kill the helper T cell also. The helper T cell helps another cell called a B cell to produce antibody. Na rahega baas, na bajegi bansuri. No helper T cell, the B cell can't produce antibody. So there is no T lymphocyte because of which immunity goes. There is no helper T cell, no helping of B cell, no production of antibody. So immediately, over a period of 8, 9, 10 months, 1 year, the entire immunity comes crashing down. Are you getting my point? It kills the T lymphocytes. It kills the helper T lymphocytes. It stops the antibody production by the B lymphocyte, and it specifically has a receptor. It specifically has a receptor. What do terrorists do? Do terrorists ever go to a empty ground and start shooting? No, they'll go to a ground which is full of people and start shooting. Similarly, the HIV wants to catch hold of the T cells or the T lymphocytes. It will find a receptor. That receptor is called CD4. CD4 on your copy is 5,000% one question. Not even 100%, 5,000% one question. Is that clear, everybody? So it will catch the CD4. CD4 is a train which is going to T cell. It will catch the CD4, go to the T cell, murder the T cell, murder the B cell, antibody, everything, destroy, immunity gone, which will take time. Right? It doesn't happen. One day you get tattoo from the HIV needle, next day immunity crashed. No, it'll take 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 1 year, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 4 years, sometimes 7 years. Depends on how strong the person is. Unfortunately, God forbid, if Khali gets HIV, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, or if a poor beggar gets HIV, the poor beggar will develop AIDS first, and Khali, because he's so strong, he'll develop it later. So AIDS is the final stage when immunity is crashed. Understood? In AIDS, AIMS MCQ, the CD4 cells are less than 200. That brings us to a question. How many CD4 cells do we normally have? 2,000 plus. And in AIDS, the HIV has killed all of them. So they are around 200 only. Is that clear? Right? So when the CD4 cell is less than 200, it's an AIMS question. It has come. When the CD4 cells are less than 200, we call it AIDS. When the CD4 cells are more than 200, we call it HIV positive. It will take some time to develop AIDS. What is AIDS? AIDS is the final stage of HIV when the person, poor guy or poor girl, is going to die because there is no immunity. Now let me quickly take you to a visual, slideshow that I've made showing you how things happen. You remember GP41, GP120? I told you they help it to enter. They help it to enter. I told you. So see GP41, GP120. Can you see how it is? See how beautifully it is joining. See? And see, this is CD4. What is CD4? CD4 is the train I told you, which it will catch to go to the T cell. You remember this, guys? So now this is the virus, and this virus has sat on the train to reach the T cell. T cell will be killed, immunity will crash, and the person will develop AIDS. When this virus is going inside, it is only HIV positive. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now I will take you to the entire story that I've made. So see, now can you see that the virus is sending the material inside, but can you also see that the green part is staying outside? Can you see that? This green part is the protein coat. The protein coat does not enter. Who's entering? Only the nuclear material. MCQ question, it can come. Does the protein part enter? No, my dear kids. What is entering? Only the nuclear material. The protein part does not enter. Can you see two separate RNAs and two enzymes? What are the enzymes called? You know it. I've told you. Reverse transcriptase. Is that clear? What will reverse transcriptase do? Yes, come on. The reverse transcriptase will help in, yes, in converting the RNA to DNA. So this is the viral RNA. Can you all see that? Yes, the viral RNA. And along with the viral RNA, what is there? Reverse transcriptase, which will convert the RNA into DNA. Why, my dear children? Can you see this? This is the human DNA. So RNA can't attach or attack the DNA. The RNA will convert to DNA and only then can it attack and attach. Yes, I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're understanding more than enjoying, my dear children. It's very important that you understand. Yes, so see, now the virus is making DNA. Can you see that? With the help of the enzyme reverse transcriptase, which is also the process is also known as, I told you, yes, teminism, because it was discovered by a scientist called Temin in Baltimore. Yes, so see this viral DNA, can you see it is going and meeting the cellular DNA? I'm sure. Yes, integration means it's joining, it's going to join, integrate. It's opening the membrane and going inside and meeting the DNA of the host. And now see, the viral DNA and the host DNA has mated, it has joined. Can you see that? See, this is the human DNA. This is the viral DNA. They have joined, they have become one. Can you see that? And what are they making? They will now start making things like a factory. They will become a factory. What will they make? They will make new viruses. Is that clear? They're going to make new viruses for us. Yes? Right? Now see, let's see how that is done. See, let's see that. See? Now they're making new proteins. So they're going to make new viral DNA. They are going to make new proteins. And who's making all of that? The T lymphocyte. Because the T lymphocyte has become what? A slave. Whose slave? HIV. Is that clear? Right? And then finally you see this diagram now, everybody. The T lymphocyte will burst, and because the T lymphocyte has burst, it is releasing what? It is releasing the new HIV particles, which will go out and infect new T lymphocytes further. And I told you, finally the number will become only 200 CD4 cells. That means they will burst everything, they will kill everything, and then the immunity will come crashing down. Is that clear? So I've told you, my dear children, about CD4 cells, which is very, very important. Yes? So you already know about CD4 cells. Let me write it down for you. And the CD4s are destroyed. And I've told you about the number of CD4s. They become less than 200, right? Remember this, less than 200. And then the HIV progresses over time to death. Because as of now, we do not have a cure for this particular disease. What is the cure that we have? I've told you. The cure that we have is the ability to stop what, my dear children? It is the ability to stop RNA to DNA, right? Let me quickly do some symptoms with you. Generally, there are no definitive symptoms. There are absolutely no definitive symptoms. It's all because the immunity is down. You see, people with HIV, you will be surprised that people with HIV die because of common cold. Because their immunity is so low, they catch common cold. They catch pneumonia. Is that clear? Yes. What else do they catch? They catch a special type of cancer which does not happen in normal people because your immunity and my immunity is very strong. That special type of cancer is called Kaposi's sarcoma. Right? Is that clear? So they have this. Understood? So they have flu-like symptoms. They have a lot of weight loss. They keep coughing. They keep having fever. They're tired all the time because they don't have energy, because they don't have immune cells. They have diarrhea. They have white spots because all of these are fungal infections, right? So they have bleeding inside the body. So purple blotches, pink blotches. They have a lot of common cold. They have pneumonia. They have a lot of tuberculosis. They have special cancers which doesn't happen in normal people because normal people's immunity is very high. So all of these are vague symptoms, very vague. They can happen generally also in the terms that TB can happen to people and pneumonia can happen. But there is no specific thing for HIV. This again is a very, very, very important slide. There are certain tests which we do to confirm whether a person has HIV or not. The moment we suspect somebody to have HIV, it's very important that we run a battery of tests on them to find out whether in reality they have HIV or not. You remember the full form of this test is known as enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. and there's another test called Western blot. In both these tests basically are protein detection tests. We are detecting protein. Now you tell me, what is a protein? Proteins are antibodies. Anybody, my dear children, who has HIV, anybody who has HIV, they will have the virus, obviously. So what will you produce? What will your body produce against the virus? Tell me. Will you produce an antibody to kill the virus? At least you will try to kill the virus by producing an antibody. Yes. So if somebody does not have a virus, tell me. No, they don't have a virus. Will they have antibody? It's just like you don't add sugar to the tea. Will the tea be sweet? Obviously no. You add sugar to the tea definitely will be sweet. Is that clear? So similarly, my dear children, if there is a virus, there will be antibody. So these tests, ELISA and Western blots, they're very rapid tests. You can do them very quickly within minutes. They detect the antibody. Antibody is a protein. Antibody is a protein, so it's a protein detection test. Remember the full form, and remember Western blotting and ELISA are antibody detection methods. They will take some time because you can't form antibody immediately. It will take some time for the body to form antibody. Okay? But if the virus has entered, suppose this is a person, and if the virus has entered, will you be able to find P24? Remember the diagram? If there is virus, will you be able to find the P24? Yes. Antibody formation will take some time, but P24 formation will not take time. So it's a very quick test. And polymerase chain reaction, even if there is one virus in the body, you can do the PCR and you can increase the amount of virus in the test and find out whether virus is really there or not. Very, very important. So ELISA and Western blotting are the antibody detection test. You find out whether there is antibody against the virus or not, because antibody making takes time. So to do a quick test, we can find out whether the antigen or the coat of the virus is there or not by doing either a PCR test or a P24 antigen detection test. The drugs are very simple. We don't have any vaccines. We can't cure the disease. The only cure is prevention. But you all know we can convert the RNA to DNA. This we can stop. This is antiretroviral therapy. Full form can come. It's called ART. We can stop the RNA to DNA. There are drugs like zamivudin, didanosine. You don't need to know the names, don't worry. Lidovudin. They are antiretroviral drugs. Lidovudin. They stop RNA to DNA. But why can't it cure? Because the virus after some time will mutate. It will kill this, and convert the RNA to DNA. Is that clear? Right? So the only thing that we have are antiretroviral therapy, which stops the conversion of RNA to DNA. Understood? These are two things which come in exams, a full form of NACO, which is National AIDS Control Organization. It's a Government of India initiative. And another thing which comes in the exam is December 1 is World AIDS Day. I am so sorry, but the time just flew and I have like 20-30 more slides. So the next disease that we're going to do is Entamoeba histolytica, which is nothing but a protozoan parasite, which I have to do it in detail. So my dear children, can we do one thing? Should I make another super cool session on this? Yes, another session where we are going to do so many more diseases, because AIDS is very important, and because AIDS has a lot of questions which come in exam from that particular topic. Only like 100% of question comes. So I think that we've done justice to AIDS, and there's absolutely nothing else that you would really need to do. But because we've got so many more diseases to cover, like amoebiasis in detail, yes, and ringworm in detail, and even malaria. Malaria I did not cover because I knew that I should do one big disease and some smaller diseases, and pneumonia and allergy and so many other diseases. So what I'm going to do is, my dear kids, I am going to keep a few extra sessions or more recordings on this particular disease. I hope you really enjoyed the session as much as I did preparing the session and taking it for you. And as always, please feel free to reach to us just in case there's anything that's bothering you. Write to us, let us know what else is troubling you. Is animal physiology troubling you, plant physiology troubling you, certain parts of genetics which are troubling you. And it will be our absolute joy to make more videos on those particular things, right? And my dear students, again, once before I sign off, make sure that no one dulls you or sparkle, no one puts you down, no one tells you what you're capable and not capable of doing. You alone are a magician and you hold the fate of your own life. You're the captain of your own ship. Steer your ship to glory, to love, to harmony, to bliss, and to all that your heart desires. Wish you all a very happy new year from my side. Signing off on behalf of Vedantu, and make sure that you truly live up to your potential. Bye bye. Have a fabulous day. I'll see you soon.